So today I'm filming a mukbang and a Q&A, and we have some assorted desserts here that we will be consuming while we're answering questions. So if you want to join, right now would be a great time to pause that vid and grab a snack. So I also have some special guests with me, aka my housemates from The Hawk or the House of Color. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Hello, I'm Gia.
Hi, I'm Ellie.
Hi, I'm Tanya.
Nice. So, so I asked y'all to ask us some questions on Twitter to get to know us a bit more and talk about some important topics that most people on YouTube don't usually talk about. The first question is actually going to be in two parts. The first part of the question is, where do you see instances of environmental injustice in your own communities? Gia, would you like to go first?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about this with the understanding that environmental injustice is something that is a product of white supremacy, and thinking specifically about like the former or like neo-colonies of the US today are Puerto Rico and the Philippines. I'm thinking about like Hurricane Maria which happened in like 2017, right? And then like Typhoon Yolanda. I don't know like what it was called like internationally, but like yeah, and like those two typhoons hit those countries so harshly, and the fact that like the US or like many like predominantly white countries use this tragedy as a way to like perpetuate white saviorism. So what happened is that like a lot of the businesses in these local areas used the typhoon to benefit from like all these donations and like that. And like in Puerto Rico, like a lot of like the impoverished communities were the ones who were most affected and were not helped.
Thank you. Cool. So the second part of this question is, how is this related to environmental privilege? So Ellie, would you like to answer this one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so environmental privilege is kind of the other side of environmental injustice. And usually those who experience environmental privilege are those who are wealthy enough to avoid these problems. And one example from a video about Aspen, Colorado, around the various activities about the various activities and resorts that are stationed there for the wealthy to be able to vacation. So especially in the winter, there are luxury resorts for snowboarding. And what people don't usually think about, which is where the environmental privilege comes in, is that the people that work behind the scenes at these resorts and the effects that these resorts have on the working class residents of Aspen. And there are trailer parks on the outskirts of Aspen, which is where most of the workers of these resorts live. And yeah, many of these trailer parks are in flood zones, which most people don't know about when they're visiting.
But I think that's a good example because many people are familiar with Aspen, Colorado, since so many people, like celebrities, target Aspen as their like go-to destination for like good skiing and snowboarding in the winter, and also meets their needs in terms of luxury because it's really expensive to stay there. Okay, so the next question is about post-truth. But before we get into the question, let's discuss what post-truth is, for those who don't already know. So post-truth can be defined as relating to or denoting circumstances in which objective facts are less influential in shaping public opinion than appeals to emotion and personal belief. With that said, let's get on to the question, which is why or how can post-truth be dangerous? Tanya would like to answer this question.
So according to Robert Mejia, Kay Beckerman, and Curtis Sullivan, that wrote White Lies, A Racial History of the Post-Truth, there are three dangers of the post-truth criticism. The first one is that it often fails to recognize the uneven benefits and consequences of our historical and contemporary truth-telling regimes. The second is that it often expresses nostalgia for those supposedly simpler days when the truth meant nothing. And the last danger is that it recenters whiteness throughout.
Great, so let's end with a couple more lighthearted questions. How do you think pop culture and social media work together to shape people's lives in general? And is this generally a positive or negative influence, or both? Question mark. Most of the time, I feel like social media is or has more of a negative impact on people, especially with things like Instagram, where you're like constantly scrolling through and like people only really show like the good side, or like the good parts of like their life, and so you're like, wow, like they have a perfect life, like why can't my life be like that, or why can't I look like them, and stuff like that.
I do think that it does have like positive influences too, which personally don't outweigh the negatives, but it is a good tool for people to have access to lots of different things like music and fashion and other forms of media. So in that sense, it's kind of gives people more opportunities, I guess, to like branch out and explore their interests. But
Yeah, that's true. On the topic of pop culture, the last question is about food trucks.
Ooh.
So we love food. So what are your guys' opinions on food trucks, and if you have a favorite, what is it? Give us all the info.
My favorite food truck is not actually a truck, it's like a food van, just to clarify. It's in Chicago, and it's this man who brings like elotes, right, like in cups and stuff, but also like esquites and like a bunch of other like junk food, like Mexican junk food, and he like parks right outside this, like our neighborhood church. He parks outside our neighborhood church, and like after mass every Sunday, everybody lines up to go get that corn. That's my favorite part about church, is the corn afterwards.
Okay, so that was the last question. Thanks for watching this video, and thanks to my wonderful housemates for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please click the thumbs up button down below, and make sure to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. And also leave a comment.
What should we eat next?
Yeah, which assortment of foods should we have next? Thanks.